What's up, y'all? One Piece One Life here, and guys, One Piece is getting hyped. Genuinely, there's a lot going on with the series right now. They announced that the live action has wrapped up recording for season 2, so the new season should come out within a year. In the anime, the Fishman Island log has just reached its climax, pitting the Straw Hats against the new Fishman Pirates, and we're already getting teasers for the second half of Egghead Island coming back in April. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually very excited to see what they do, especially with the pacing. In the manga, we're absolutely frying because Elbaf is one of the best week-to-week experiences I've ever had. Hell, we even got a One Piece X Lego set coming soon, and a cool Luffy X Lakers basketball promotional video to check out. But Oda was like, you know what? There's so many pots already cooking, let me add another, cause I ain't done. Because we have a new SBS to go over, and that's gonna be the SBS of volume 111. Now guys, I'm not gonna pretend and say like this is the best SBS we've ever gotten, but you know, there's a few interesting gems in there. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be breaking down the SBS and seeing what new information we can get. But before we get into a behind the scenes look into Oda's imagination, guys, please do something for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this. Share it around with all your friends who love the series. You know what we say here, let's get it going. We're on a legendary run right now with the hockey video that I posted last week, smashing it out of the park. So I need y'all to do the same for this one. And while we're at it, make sure that you subscribe to me and my boys over at CSY. We're almost at 4.3k. So first we get Arlong lore. So someone asked Oda to please draw what Arlong looked like when he found out the news that Jinbei ended up joining the Straw Hats, because you know, the Straw Hats are the one who beat him, but Jinbei was almost like his, you know, the Zoro to his Sanji and all that. Essentially, he's just making the same annoyed face that we've seen hella people make ever since the Wano era. And in fact, the fact that Oda is actually choosing to draw Arlong in this way essentially means that Arlong is having his time period of transitioning from a, like, you know, threatening villain into a Joker. It's actually crazy to think of it, but y'all, this is the first time that we've seen Arlong drawn by Oda since his defeat over 25 years ago, at least in the context of canon material. Then we move on to a Vegapunk question that I didn't think we'd get because it actually doesn't have anything to do with Vegapunk. So someone asked Oda what Luffy's 6 satellites would be like if he used the 6 paths of Punk Jutsu. And from what we see, it's just 5 greeds and 1 violence. And y'all, I'm actually crying. Like, is that all there is to this man? He's so simple. I mean, it's pretty telling the fact that there isn't even a good version for one of his satellites, but you know, Luffy's a simplistic guy. I appreciate him for that. Then we have something that I would say is one of the few questions that actually pertains to the One Piece world. And that's a question about how the Cross Guild works monetarily. As it turns out, Buggy and them are not actually the people who are paying all of the bounty cash-ins that they get. The Cross Guild is actually the face of the operation, but because of how influential they are in the underworld, they were actually able to get some underworld companies to like financially back them, and it's those companies that end up paying for the bounty totals. So with this, you got to think about the other underworld emperors. You know, there was Umit, there was Drug Piccolo, and all the rest of the underworld emperors who were at Big Mom's tea party. And then apparently there's also just a dark gambling ring where in the underworld, people are placing bets on who's the next Marine to be hunted, which, if that's true, that's just sick work. And then of course, overall, you have the idea that just the fact that Cross Guild exists and is doing this system is a huge moral tank for the Marines. A lot of people are just like, oh hell nah, I'm not even gonna try joining the Marines. What's the point? And I mean, who knows? We could even see a mass exodus of the Marines who are already part of the organization actually leaving. We then get a question about the Celestial Dragon's hairstyle. Apparently it's called the Noble Opener because it looks like a bottle opener and they're nobles, I guess. I don't know if I would have called it that because, you know, it looks a lot more phallic to me. But also, come on guys, are these the best questions that we can give to Oda? Really? And then we get this mess. So apparently 20 years ago, Oda drew this guy here, Gargan, a fusion of all the Straw Hats at the time. Yeah, Luffy's hat, Zoro's swords and belly warmer, Nami's hair coming off of the back, Usopp's nose is for some reason sticking out of one of the arms, Sanji's single curly brow is just like coming out of the head, Chopper has his antlers, and then Robin's bangs. Well, someone asked him to draw a post-time skip version, and oh, he did. And y'all, what am I looking at? We see again, Luffy's hat is there, Zoro's swords and belly warmer. Nami's hair is still coming off the back, but also now, her tattoo is on one of Frankie's 2 spherical shoulder pads. Usopp's nose is coming out of the left arm, which is Brook's skeletal arm. Then the right arm is Robin's arm, but 2 hands are like splitting out of it because of her Hana no Mi. Sanji's single curly brow is sticking out of what seems to be Usopp's satchel. You still got Chopper's antlers, and then it is wearing Jinbei's kimono. And interestingly, Nika's steam ribbon. Only interesting in the fact that Oda decided to make a distinction between Luffy and Nika, so what does that have to do with the future of the story? And then we get some info about the jailer beasts. Y'all remember the Impel Down jailer beasts, right? Minotaurus, Mino Chihuahua, and all them? Well, Oda confirms that they're essentially failed Zoan awakenings. Now, they were able to push their fruits to awakening, but it seems as though their fruits have overridden their original personalities, as Shaka told us that Zoan fruits in particular have the tendency of doing. So this might explain why they don't have, the ribbons that the rest of the awakened Zoan family has. Though of course it could also be because it was over 10 years ago and Oda hadn't thought about it at that point. In another question, Oda notes that the smile fruits, unlike devil fruits that reincarnate, if a smile fruit user dies, their fruit just vanishes, which cool to know, I guess. And then we get an answer to a question that I've personally had for the longest time, essentially ever since we found out what the planet looked like. What the hell is the name of the One Piece planet? And Oda confirms that the name of the planet that we're on is called the Blue Star. Though apparently, to be fair, this actually isn't new info because people had already pieced this together as it had been said during Annel's cover story, but also something about how you needed to know Japanese at that time, some. So I don't know. It's apparently not new information, but it's new to me. And at least it's good to have Oda properly confirm it. And then as part of that, he also talks about the wolf bridges. So ever since we learned that there were 4 wolf bridges scattered throughout the world, people have been wondering, well, the one that Odin and Roger saw during the Odin flashback, was that Tequila Wolf or what? Turns out it wasn't Tequila Wolf, but Oda doesn't want to specify as to whether it was vodka, rum, or bourbon. Now with this penultimate piece of information, we get probably for me what was the single most interesting part by far of this entire SBS. And that's gonna be that we got more context on HANAFUDA. Remember him? He was introduced to us back in the SBS of volume 109, and it was explained that he is the warlord that Ace defeated and that Kuma took the place of. Well, turns out he's Oti and Page One's dad. Now, we don't know when he had them as his kids, but what we do know on context with HANAFUDA is that he and Kaido actually used to be rival pirates back in the day and used to be clashing, but eventually they realized that they had such similar goals and similar interests that they essentially joined forces. And Oda reveals that HANAFUDA's hobby that he had mentioned the last time when we were introduced to him, collecting ancient Zoan devil fruits, it was indeed to give them to Kaido in order to strengthen the Beast Pirates up. And can I just say, I was right. Because you can go back to my SBS 109 breakdown. I literally said when we met him, I bet you money that the reason that he was giving or collecting rather ancient Zoan devil fruits is that he was giving them to Kaido and that him and Kaido had some sort of close relationship. I didn't even know how right I was because for all intents and purposes, HANAFUDA was on Kaido's crew. So now we gotta think about this. How strong do y'all think HANAFUDA really was? Because look, I know he got beat by Ace, but also Ace is not a pushover. You think he could have potentially been all-star level? I mean, maybe he was supposed to be the true person to round out the trio alongside of King and Queen because, we all know that Jack is buns. King, Queen, and HANAFUDA. Yeah, give me those odds. I mean, just the fact that he used to clash with Kaido regularly means that he has to be pretty decent. But then sadly, what happened is that after he got kicked out of the Warlords, he was on his way to reunite with his children when pirates who held a grudge against him pulled up and killed him. And y'all, this actually pained me. Cause guys, One Piece is filled with so many atrocious fathers. So seeing one who was actually trying to be there for his kids and go be with his kids only for him to end up dead is no. And low-key, when you think about it, HANAFUDA and Kuma actually have a lot in common. Also, shout out Kaido for stepping in and taking care of Ulti and Page One after HANAFUDA died. Cause he really ain't have to do that. He could have just been chilling, especially cause they used to fight. He ain't the stepfather, but he's the father that stepped up. And then to round out the SBS, we, for some reason, have to talk about Useless Mid. And for reasons, people are apparently confused about the whole Big Mom thing when he run up on Big Mom and stole her poneglyph or whatever. Y'all, Kid did not run up on Big Mom. While at sea, Kid attacked a Big Mom pirate ship, and the person who was on that ship was the then sweet commander, Snack, who Kid beat the hell up. Apparently, Snack begged for his life and was like, please, just, I don't know what you want, but please just leave me alive. And Kid said, in exchange for leaving you alive, bring me Big Mom's road poneglyph. And I know how Kid fans get, so before anybody wants to tell me that this is a feat, y'all, no it's not. If anything, I don't think that this is a Kid feat. I think that this is a neg feat for Snack. Like, how sorry do you have to be to allow this guy to beat you up so badly that you're begging for your life? Like, you were fighting at sea, kid didn't even have any metal to use. So that's the end of the SBS, y'all. It was a bit of a shorter one and we didn't have as much to go off of, but you know, there's some gems, hopefully. Which was your favorite part about the SBS though? Please make sure to let me know all that and more in the comments. Now that is the end of the video, y'all, but before we go, like it, subscribe, and share it around. Remember, I'm trying to build a community, but I need your help to do it. That's gonna be all from me. I'll catch you on the next one. And always remember, one piece, one life. Oda, please don't bring Kid back. If there's one thing that you can do for me right now, Oda, never bring Kid back into the story. It will be a dark day in hell for me.